My name is Caleb Anderson, and you're listening to Jesus the Overcomer podcast. So, for our guests this week, I have Alex Trejo. I'm really excited for you to be on.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to be up here.
Awesome. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the starter question, and it's the question that I ask all my guests as they come on. So, who or what has had the most impact with your walk with Christ?
All right. So, like I was telling him earlier, before the podcast, um, I grew up Christian.
Mhm.
I was raised like on Christianity, like those beliefs, and I had a strict mother, so she like really enforced the rules on me and my brother. So, it wasn't like a thing like when I was growing up, like my younger ages. It wasn't like a church every Sunday, church every Wednesday type of thing. But she still like raised us on like core Christian morals and Christian beliefs. Although we weren't always involved in church. So I'd say the most impact happened when I was growing up. I was going to a daycare called First Baptist, and um me and Jason enjoyed it. We loved it. That's how we met like some AJ and Alex. They're in the youth too.
Yeah.
But that's how we met them. They went there. Stuff like that. So um, we didn't have Miss. So Miss Jessica was one of our teachers. I'm gonna get to that. But we were going to this daycare, and then our teacher ended up leaving, and a new one was coming in, and we were scared. We were like, oh, it's gonna be this old lady that's gonna be mean to us. She's gonna yell at us. We were scared and stuff. And then time came. It had the day of meeting the teacher finally came, and we got to the office, and it's Jessica sitting in there. She's like a 19 years old at this time. I'm 6. My brother's 7.
Uh-huh.
So, we go in there. She has a piercing in her nose. She has these red glasses on. She has jeans with holes in them. And we were like, oh gosh, we were terrified. We were like, this lady's about to be mean, or we didn't know what to expect from her. But me and Jason ended up growing a good relationship with her, like in the first year of her being there. Um, yeah, we ended up getting really close with her after a while of going to the daycare and her being our teacher. We ended up going to church with her. She invited us for like a Wednesday, or it was VBS at Living Faith. So um we went to that VBS, and ever since then, I mean, we'd come periodically, she'd invite us, be like, "You want to come to church?" We'd go on like a Wednesday or so, and then it ended up us going every single Wednesday. And then we started getting more and more involved. So like when we were younger, like 8, 10, around that age range, we were like getting involved in like the dramas that she would do and just stuff like that. And then um my mom ended up getting like more and more comfortable with her, and she started taking us places and
Uh-huh.
doing stuff with us. So it was really cool. And of course, I mean, if y'all know Jessica, I mean, she's a warrior for God, and I mean, she's just been a huge impact on my relationship with God. She's
Yeah.
been like my mentor in a way, and um, growing up, every year we just gotten closer and closer, and like now she's like one of my best friends that I've in my life, and she's like one of the biggest influences that on my relationship with God, and she's the reason why I'm now getting into like ministry and stuff like that, and
Right.
like more leadership roles, I guess, in the church and with the youth.
Yeah.
So it's just she's been my the if like person wise, like human being wise, she's been my most impactful person in my life in my walk with God.
That's awesome. That was actually one of the questions I was gonna ask
Oh
is
yeah.
how you met Jessica, because I knew like y'all were really close, but I
Mhm.
didn't know the story behind it,
Yep.
and I knew that she's had a big impact on your life.
Yes.
So to hear that story, and just also like a couple episodes back, I've interviewed her, and
Mhm.
I know her story. It's just awesome to see how God has worked through her
Yeah.
to get to you, and now
Yeah.
you're here.
Yeah, and I just think it's cool. Also, I mean, she came from like a background completely different from mine. I mean, don't get me wrong, like she was raised in church, like church every Sunday and stuff like that. But then in her like teen years, she kind of went on her own kind of path. She knew who God
Mhm.
was, but she was just doing worldly things.
Right.
And so, I mean, I think everything happens for a reason, and uh, God placed her in my life definitely for a reason,
Yeah.
so that I can be where I am today, and
Right.
just I mean, it's just seeds being planted and them growing. So
Right.
yeah.
That's awesome. So the next question that I'm gonna ask is, how long have you, well, when did you have that like encounter with God where it got real personal?
Hmm, good question. But I mean, like I said, I've been like all my life, I've had a relationship with God, or definitely more so when I met Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I remember when I was young, maybe like I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 10, between 10 and 12. But Jessica told me, because I really don't remember that well, but she told me, like, she was going around asking what everyone wanted to be when they grow up. And she got to me. This was at First Baptist, by the way.
Uh-huh.
But she got to me, and I said I wanted to be a disciple when I was like at that young age. And I guess that's when, I guess at a young age, that's when I was like trying to grow in my relationship with God. But then I'd say getting into like middle school years or middle school age range, I started to fall off a little bit. I mean, I wasn't doing nothing like crazy, like drugs and stuff. But I mean, every once in a while, I'd cuss and stuff. And I would just do worldly things and things I thought were fun at the time, and
Right.
that weren't something I should have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I always had Jessica to fall back on and to go to when I was going through something. So um, probably like beginning of high school, maybe around like 10th grade is when I got like really serious about God and my relationship with Him. Is that when I got like really serious? I started understanding it more because at a young age you just kind of you're like I mean you hear about God and you're like, oh, I want to follow Him.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you just see more stuff and you go through more things. So I feel like around 10th grade, so whatever age that is, I started growing in my relationship with God, and ever since, it's been a bumpy road.
Yeah.
I've gone through things and I've done things that I shouldn't have, but I'm learning and I'm still learning. I'm not perfect. I mean, I mess up to this day,
Yeah.
but I'm still trying my best to grow in my relationship with God. And um, yeah, 10th grade around
Yeah.
when I think
So like, for the viewers, like, how old are you now?
18.
18.
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
yeah, so it's been probably about what, 4 years, 4 or 5 years that you like really got serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome because I've known you probably for like
Hmm.
about 2 years.
Yeah.
I really like met you at the first men's encounter we did,
Hmm.
and I really got to see like your heart for people. So that actually leads to the next question. Because I know like when I'm like kind of watching from the background kind of
Hmm.
thing, I see like you have this heart for people and definitely the youth.
Hmm.
So anytime we have an altar call, you're like the first one like to run up there when there's like a youth,
Hmm.
and it's awesome because it's really unique.
Hmm.
People around like high school age to early 20s, it's not really a season where you see a lot of growth in Jesus and like they're so
Yeah.
solid. But just seeing your heart for people, I know that comes from your relationship with God.
Yes. Yes.
So, have you always had that like heart for people, or had that came about mm, like recently? Like,
Honestly, I mean, I think I've always been that kind of person. I feel like a lot of times I can be like kind of like a people pleaser,
mm-hmm,
and I mean, I'm just trying to work on that too, because I mean, it's just different situations and stuff. But I think I've always had a heart for people. I've always like loved making friends and
yeah,
just trying to help people out and just do things like that. But yeah, before we do go into that also more, I wanted to talk about the men's ministry. That's when I first met you, I think, isn't it?
yeah, it is. I just started coming to the church probably about 6 months before that.
Yeah, that was a awesome. That was a really impactful trip for me,
Yeah,
and like hearing your story too that night was awesome as well. I
yeah,
thought that was great, and it was just a good like bonding time for everyone and how we could all like come together and grow closer to God.
yeah.
I definitely want to go on another one of those because I wasn't able to last year because of prom. I think.
Yeah, that's right. It was prom. There was a lot of. I remember my dad telling me that he asked a lot of other like
Hmm.
youth that were about to come into college age. He was
Mm-hmm.
wanting them to come and experience that,
Yeah.
and a lot of them said they couldn't because of prom.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, another thing, like, so a lot of my friends, like from school and stuff, have been coming, and they've been coming for a while now.
Hmm.
But, like you were saying about the youth in this age group, like the teenager, high school age group, having a relationship with God, um, it's kind of been hard on me, and it's something I'm talking about tomorrow because I'm teaching like the youth tomorrow.
Hmm.
But I've had friends and stuff that's come to the church, and they were like really give their life to God, and I've seen really God really do some great things in their lives and through them.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's really hard seeing my friends even now go through stuff like and like kind of like get farther away from God, and like they just don't have that relationship that they used to have. And I've just been seeing that a lot lately. Which I mean, I've had conversations with God about this, and I pray about these people all the time.
Right.
Because I mean, it's I can't like I really can't imagine being. I was just in high school, but being in high school right now can really like suck if, like with your relationship with God. I mean, there's just so many temptations and so much
Hmm.
going on in the world like that. Just hard, and just and spending going to college and stuff like a lot of my friends are. It's just so much that they're open to, and like or that that's open to them that they
Right.
can do. And I mean, I understand like that it can be fun and stuff, but it's just hard seeing my friends fall off the path that they were going. Because I mean, at one point you see they're on like fire for God,
Right.
but then I mean, just one wrong thing or like one wrong bad decision, they just
Hmm.
completely fall off the trail.
Yeah.
It's just hard to see.
I saw somebody talk about like after around the college age, like right after high school, kids who were grown up in church or even when they recently like given their life to Christ,
Mm.
is and they go to college, it's really hard for a lot of them to keep their faith because of everything that they are exposed to.
Yes,
So, I will say this, like I feel like New Life has a different set of youth that most churches don't.
I agree.
A lot of churches are struggling with getting like youth and young adults into church,
Hmm.
and New Life like is definitely like thriving in that,
Yes.
and it's a different environment. Um, but hearing you talk about like some of your friends, they seem to like to fall off a little bit. They've gone a little distance and
Hmm.
stuff like that. I think it's just the age. Um, but I will say this, like for you, because you said that you pray for them and everything.
Hmm.
That's great because you're doing something you might not even be able to see, but by praying, you're helping God to like move in their life.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, keep praying
Hmm.
and reaching out and doing
Yeah.
whatever because you never know, you might be making a difference
Hmm.
bigger than you know.
Yeah, and that's not how I've always been. Cause used to, I mean, I've come a long way from where I used to be. Cause used to, I mean, I would try to like it was almost like I would try to like not I want to say like force them, but like I would just like be on. I mean, I would be them on them all the time and stuff, and it's just sometimes it's not what people need,
Hmm.
and you can't. I mean, there's only so much you can do, and Jessica's helped me out a lot with this too. Cause I would talk to her about it. I'd be like why are my friends going so far away from God? And I'm like, I was just like, it was stressing me out, and I used to like try to blame myself for it, cause like, what am I not doing enough and stuff like that?
Right.
But she's really taught me through it and helped me to realize that. I mean, if I've done what I can and I've planted that seed in their life, then I mean, you just gotta trust God's plan for their life, and you just
That's
gotta
right.
keep praying for them, and be there for them. So that's kind of where I've changed from always like being down their throats about it to now I'm there. I'm always there for them. Of course, I still encourage them and stuff,
Hmm.
and I'm just their friend, and I pray for them every day. And now, if they are going through something or they do have questions, I'm someone that they can come to, which
Right.
I'm really grateful for, and I know I do know God's used me in a lot of ways. I'm really grateful for the ways that He has used me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also want to say this, because you talked about planting seeds. It's important to know that plant those seeds, but you might not be the person who will ever see them blossom.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a different season in their life that those seeds will blossom,
Yeah.
and you might not be able to see it. It can be discouraging, but
Mm-hmm.
keep pushing because those seeds are important.
Yes.
So I'm proud of you for doing
Appreciate
that
it.
because
Appreciate it.
a lot of people need those friends. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, have you ever had a season where, well, let's say this first. In the we've been talking about um questioning God and maybe doubting God
Mm-hmm.
in seasons. And when I was thinking about questions for you, um, I took one of the questions that we asked some of the other um guys last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was a great question for anybody. So I'm gonna ask you. But have you ever had a season where you doubted God's goodness?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's I feel like it can be like almost natural at times for like I mean humans, and especially like people who like are like think a lot or like they need like evidence right in front of them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like me, I've had times where I mean I've just prayed for things and prayed for things or something that kind of situation, and I mean I just don't see what I want to see, and
Right.
this is also something I'm talking about tomorrow. Be there. Oh wait, this is gonna be come after.
It's gonna come after the
Well,
week after.
yeah. Um, but I'm gonna be talking about this tomorrow. But it's like almost like stuff that I would if I would put myself in like like situation like in my head where I'd be like why aren't you doing this, God? If I were you, I would have this done by now,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But that's not the mindset that we need to have.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really think of like a specific time right now, but there's definitely been times where I'm like, God, why am I going through this? Or why is all this happening to me? Like whether it's been like relationships with people or anything like that. It's just like it sucks, but um, now I do know that I mean God has a better plan for me. Maybe what I'm praying for isn't what something that I need, or in the long run would um put me down like a bad path.
Mm-hmm.
So I know God has my best interest now, which I didn't know before,
Yeah.
which was kind of hard because I mean I've gone through stuff that would really put me in like really I don't want to say like depressions, but like really sad. I would be like really sad at times, and I'm like God, where are you at, man?
Yeah.
But nah, I'm really happy that I do know I have that confidence in knowing that He's there for me now, and I every when I'm sorry, I
No,
feel
you're
like
fine. Keep going.
going crazy, but one of the things that I do pray for every day is that His will is done in my life now, and that's like something that's changed in my prayer
Mm-hmm.
because I've been starting to pray that His will is done in my life over my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some wisdom too, because I think a lot of people struggle with why have God not like answered prayers.
Mm-hmm.
I There's been times that I have to because my family definitely like the past few years we have gone through a whole lot,
Mm-hmm.
and there's been times I've been praying. I'm like, why are we going through this season? But then I haven't remembered because like spiritual warfare is so strong,
Mm-hmm.
and you might not understand it in the physical world,
Yeah.
but there could be a whole nother reason behind the curtains
Yeah.
of heaven, that God is putting you through this. And so that's a reminder, but it can it can get you like really down and depressed because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it might not be you at all. It just
Mm-hmm.
might be a season that God wants you to go through to grow you.
Yes.
So you praying for His will to be done is something really like powerful because His will might be a totally different than what our plans are.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
So I want to move on to you also have a podcast.
Yeah. I do.
What's the name of that podcast?
The Epic podcast.
That's what I thought, but I didn't really know if that was
Because
the
our youth group is called Epic, so
yeah.
something like
It's been great. I've watched a few of the episodes, and I like how laid back it is.
it.
It's very laid back, but it's definitely like great. Like,
I appreciate it.
yeah. But what made you get into doing that podcast?
Mm, what got us into it? I want to say I was still in school at the time, maybe. Definitely like the end of senior year if I was,
Hmm.
but I had always wanted to do a podcast. Like before it was like a thing I wanted to do, like not even with the church or anything, just
Right.
something I've always wanted to start.
Hmm.
And I've watched a few, and I was like, I can do that. That seems pretty easy. Found out it can be difficult,
Yeah.
but um, I think I mean just me and my brother talking about it, and I mentioned it to him, and just it was all about getting it started, and we ended up getting our first guest. I think it was Isaac, maybe,
Hmm.
but we ended up getting him. We were like, all right, tonight we're gonna film the podcast, and I mean we didn't have no like equipment or anything. We had our phone cameras and stuff like that, but we just set it up and had a few questions lined up, and we started it, and people ended up liking it. So I was like, oh, this will be good, and
Yeah.
we can get like you're doing, getting people's stories and stuff, and
Hmm.
just talk about different things going on in life. So I think it's just I just thought it would be a good way to get the youth together, learn more about the youth that we have, and
Yeah.
just all grow together. I mean, I definitely do think it was something that God put in my heart at the time though, because I mean we didn't really have a lot going on with the youth. I mean we go out and do stuff, but like we didn't have nothing like that we could like share on like social media or something. Because you know
Right.
that's what all everyone's on nowadays. That's like the big thing is social media, which it can be a good thing and a bad thing,
Hmm.
you know, depending on what's being shared and what's how it's impacting you. But I just felt like we didn't have anything like on social media, like social media presence or anything, where we could like share God's word and stuff and just
Right.
connect with people. So I just felt like God put it on my heart to start it, and we started it up, and ever since I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's been great. I've watched probably about 3 episodes and I've really enjoyed it. Um, I will say like I feel that since you did start it, it's using social media that can be bad, but like using
Hmm.
it in a way to glorify God.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And it's also great for like the youth to see that you can use social media as a ministry.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be about yourself because
Hmm.
that's what social media is all about is
Yeah.
yourself. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it and I hope that you keep doing it because
Yeah.
I feel like it is a great thing you're doing.
I appreciate it. And social media definitely can influence people positively, but it can definitely influence people negatively.
Right.
And I've learned that kind of in the way of like the big thing for me was music, which
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say I like just strictly listen to Christian music now, but it's like 90% Christian music. And then some days I might put on a throwback song that I remember, and I was like, it's just like, I want to listen to this, and I put it on.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I listen to Christian music now, and I feel like that's impacted me a lot because we don't really realize it, but the music we listen to and like the stuff we're putting into our bodies like that really impact our lives
Yeah.
as a whole. So that's just something that I've personally changed up since I've been more serious about God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the music thing is like a really recent thing. Like a few months, I've been changed and cut out like 90% of the bad music.
That's
So
awesome. I've actually that was one of my goals for the new year
yeah.
because I've always loved Christian music. I've always
Mhm.
loved worship.
Yeah.
I've always had a heart for worship. Like
Mhm.
that's my favorite thing on Sunday mornings is worship.
Yeah, the worship.
But I also love good music,
Yeah.
and I grew up in a family that we like. Both my parents have great taste in music,
Mm.
so I like a lot of different music,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's hard to find like Christian music that
It
goes
really
with different genres.
it really is.
But something that really stood out to me was when the Apple Music like recap for your year
Mhm.
came out. No Christian artist was up there. And I was kind of upset because I was like, I didn't realize how much I
Mm.
wasn't listening to Christian music.
It's like they're
And
calling
it
you out.
wasn't like terrible artists. It
Yeah.
was like I really like Kelly Clarkson. I've always loved her music. So I
Mhm.
like listen to her or um I don't know, some other artists.
Yeah.
But that was one of my goals was like this year I want it to be full of Christian artists.
Hmm.
Um, just
That's a good goal.
like just to so it can impact my life. And
Yeah.
so far I feel like I really have like I mainly listen to Christian music now.
Nice.
Um, but like you said, some days you just
Mm.
need to listen to something else and
Yeah.
just for fun. I don't think there's something wrong with that as long
Mm.
as the lyrics or the meaning or
Yeah.
the artist is fine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And like that, like the bad music. I mean, it sucks because like some of it, like it's just, like especially like the beats and stuff. I mean, it would sound so good,
Yeah.
and then you like start listening to the words, and you're like, whoa, what did he just say? And then it's just stuff you don't agree with. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something that I had to turn from. And
Yeah.
back, I feel like back like a few years ago, maybe there wasn't as many options either. But like recently, I found like, cause I like rap music a lot,
Yeah.
but like there's a lot of good Christian like rap artists that I guess like are now just coming like making a name for themselves and stuff. And
Hmm.
I mean, it's just I'm glad to see it because it definitely has helped me out having some good songs that I like to listen to.
Right. Um, and I also think like because PC also puts out playlists
Hmm.
and like looking at different artists, 'cause I get some of my music from that, and that also really helps. I'm glad
Oh
he
yeah,
does that because it helps me like to find new music
yeah.
because I don't want to get tired of the music I'm listening to.
Uh huh.
So yeah, so that's been great.
Yep. He's definitely good with music. He
Yeah,
knows music.
yeah.
So
I mean, he used to be a DJ, so
yeah, it makes sense.
yeah. I think that all I have for you.
Okay.
I'm really happy that you were able to come on. I feel
Thanks
like
for
this is
having
going
me.
to be for somebody specific.
Yeah,
So, thank you again.
of course. Awesome.
What?
Oh, I was about to say, good gosh.
I was like, that was. I don't think. Thank you for tuning in to Jesus the Overcomer podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and share it to your friends. See you next time.